Let's continue with our chapter 4, that is safety management. So in the previous video, we basically studied about fire hazards and fire drills. So here in this video, we are going to study what is need for safety management and other topics related to safety management. So let's start with need for safety management. So basically, managing workplace safety is an important goal for an organization. So it basically ensures that there is a better working environment for employees. Then the software system used in the safety management, they always help to record, manage and analyze the safety related data. This system can see exactly where the accidents and unsafe situations are occurring. Safety management also ensures proactive steps to eliminate the accidents. And due to safety management system, day-to-day activities are observed through paper forms, Excel sheets, software application to record the safety data. Also to investigate accidents, it's also take follow-up and feedback mechanism. Safety management basically ensures that centralized compliances from all locations. It brings repeatability to safety operations. When processes are repeatable, they can be methodologically improved. Safety management makes standardization so that all locations operate uniformly. It also automates the safety investigation process. The safety management software basically enhances the communication and sharing of appropriate data among supervisors, managers, safety professionals, and medical staff. And due to this safety management, corrective actions are taken according to the situation. Also, it helps to place the employees in job suitable to their work restrictions. It also ensures that when a task is carried out in your workplace, every precaution has to be taken to avoid such kind of accidents. So this basically these are the needs of safety management. Next, in this slide, we are going to study general safety norms for industrial unit. Okay, first one is use of personal protective equipment. Then personal protective equipment is anything that is used to protect our human body, eyes, face, ears, head, extremities, and all body parts. Okay, so personal proactive equipments must be available in good working condition. Next is head protection. There should be use of appropriate head protection when exposed to overhead hazards from electrical shock, bomb hazards, impact hazards, and penetration hazards. Head protection is required when exposed to object falling from above. Next is face and eye protection. Okay, so each employee shall use eye or face protection when they are exposed to eyes and face hazards from flying particles, molten metal, liquid chemicals, acids, and or gas vapors. Then next is hearing protection, that is ears protection. Each employee exposed to noise level that it basically exceeds above 85 decibels for an extended period must wear approved and safe earplugs. Okay. Then next is hand and foot protection. Each employee should use appropriate hand and foot protection when they are exposed to injury from potential skin absorption hazards, chemical or thermal burns, electrical dangerous cuts, fractures, etc. Next is protective clothing and personal hygiene. So this related to clothes and hygiene. So basically, protective clothing shall be worn by those persons who are exposed to hazards such as solid and liquid chemicals, high or low temperature, open flames, and large amount of ultraviolet light. So basically, when persons are exposed to moving or rotating equipments, proactive clothing must fit tightly. Shirt shall be tucked in, long sleeves must be buttoned, jewelry should not be worn while operating industrial equipment. Okay, so these are proactive clothing and personal hygiene. Next is lockout of energy sources. All employees should follow the strict procedure for lockout of energy sources. All equipment circuits should be locked out to protect against accidental operation, and they should not attempt to operate any switch while wearing a lock. Any employee not following procedures should be subjected to strict disciplinary actions. Next is hand tool and portable power tool safety. All persons should use personal proactive equipment while using any tools. They should check for working safety guards, shields, warning labels. Always use right tool for the job. Due, dull tools are more dangerous than sharp ones, so use sharp tools. While working with an electrical equipment, they should ensure that all the metal hand tools are insulated. Never use compressed air to remove dust and debris from the clothing. So this should be taken care, that is hand tool and portable power tool safety. Next is compressed gas cylinders. You should only use those cylinders that are approved for interstate transportation. Close the cylinder main valve and bleed the lines. Remove any regulators. Tighten the cylinder wave cap. Cylinders may be rolled for moving purposes but not tracked. When there is a doubt about how to use the cylinder, the user shall contact the supplier of cylinder for consultation. Regulators and pressure gauges are to be used only with gases for which they are designed. Cylinders should not be kept near elevators. So that's compressed gas cylinder. Next is welding and cutting tools. So always basically use fire resistant gloves, use leather caps to prevent hot spark. Hard hats shall be used when there is a hazard of falling object. Goggles, helmets and shields should be used for all types of welding. So basically, power movers and tractors are designed to seat only for the drivers. Avoid lack of oxygen in the space that could cause immediate respiratory failures. Serious care must be taken where toxic gases or vapors can poison the workers. Avoid slipping, trapping surfaces. Okay. So these are basically general safety norms for the industrial unit. Okay. Next topic is preventive measures. How can we prevent this? First is safe working methods. That is, operations in the factory must be designed considering the safety first. Possibility of accidents should be eliminated. Prior care must be taken for that while deciding the methods and operations. Then second is proper selection of workers. So disciplined, mentally stable, emotionally balanced, and alert people must always work in safe manner. Workers with above abilities, with good motive of work must be selected for such kind of work. The attitude and aptitude of the workers must be tested through various psychological tests and interviews at the time of selection. So there should be a proper selection of workers for such kind of tasks. Third is training for safe workers. Basically, training gives knowledge of work, which improves person's attitude and gives correct direction. Trained employees work safely. Proper workers with proper training is better manpower to be employed. So, training of workers is the assurance of safe working. Hence, training is one of the preventive measure to avoid accidents. Fourth is accident prone areas. Survey of industrial processes, plant layout, material transportation, sensitive operations helps us to understand where the possibility of accident is more. Corrective actions and preventive care must be taken at such places. Instructions regarding the same should be given and awareness among the concerned authorities or employees should be taken. Fifth is safety devices. During the industrial operations, prevention can be taken by using such safety devices. So, helmets, goggles, breath purifiers, pads, hand gloves, safety shoes, aprons, protection shield are some of the personal safety devices which can be used. So basically, it depends on the type of process and the kind of body exposure. So unnecessary extra care which create difficulties in working must be avoided. And person should be properly trained to use these safety devices effectively. Then sixth one is safety program. So basically, a systematic working with safety is possible through establishment by a safety department. So this department will be dedicated for safety related work only. A complete schedule for safety awareness will be carried out. Then the workers will be educated by conducting various safety programs and imparting trainings to make them conscious for the safety. So basically, a safety program is needed. Then seventh is safety provisions. So fencing of rotary and moving paths, provision of fire extinguishing equipments, employment of adolescents on dangerous machines must be restricted. Availability of first aid facilities, instructions for safety and related precautions while working must be taken care whenever required. So these are the safety provisions. Then eighth one is promoting safety awareness in employees. So everybody knows the causes of accidents. There are a number of accidents every day. So it is basically important to create a safety consciousness among the employees. By following the ways management promotes safety awareness, following are given below different safety awareness. First is safety training program. Second is display of banners, posters, which underline importance of safety. Third is organizing the seminars, conferences, session by experts on industrial safety related issues. Fourth is displaying safety related messages, instructions, guidelines near the work area. Fifth is competition in industry related to safety and awards to those departments where minimum accident instances occur. Sixth is celebrating safety awareness week for creating safety consciousness among the employees. Seventh is formation of safety committee. Eighth is publication of articles related to industry safety in the company periodicals, magazines. Ninth is essay competition, picture competition, slogan, competition related to safety, industrial safety must be organized. So this is basically promoting safety awareness in employees. Next topic we are going to study is safety procedures. Okay. So basically develop, establish and maintain the plans for safety. Define the policies for administration of safety programs, which will include safety training, industrial safety, safe working conditions. Also provide accident preventing guidances to the staff. Develop the safety education, award programs to create safety awareness. Then reviewing the documents related to safety, directions mentioned in the handbooks is needed. Then understanding the legal systems related to accidents and deciding policies accordingly. Providing safety engineers at workplace. Short-term and long-term planning for safety factors related to technical developments and associated operational methods. Formation of safety department with dedicated staff for same function. Then establishing procedure of safe working. Okay, so these are the different safety procedures. Next, we'll continue with the safety procedures, checking the reality and finding out accident prone areas. Actions must be taken to avoid the accidents. Then handling workmen compensation claims and correspondence after unfortunate occasions. Provision of safety aids, first aid services near the workplaces. Documentation related to accidents should be maintained. Review of plans related to construction, facilities, equipment, and other systems to ensure conformation with acceptable safety standards. Evaluating and approving safety practices in potentially hazardous areas or operations. Ensure that the health and safety of all the employees are taken care. Accident analysis to learn in future for no repetitions of the same. So these are basically the safety procedures that are needed to be followed. Next topic is work permit. So what basically is a work permit? Work permit is basically a documented format that authorizes certain people to carry out a specific work within a given time or within a time frame. Okay. So it set out the precautions required to complete the work safely based on a risk management. Features of permit to work system. So, a standard operating procedure, the equipment and the tools to be used, a hazard and a risk assessment, required precautions, mitigating actions and control measures, permit issue, extension and withdrawal details, the name and signature of those who are responsible for job. A toolbox talk signed by all the workmen. Then a work permit system should also consist of standard procedure essentials such as details of necessary preparatory work method statement, clear definition of responsibilities. It is a formal recorded process. It monitors and audits to ensure that the system works as intended. It is for authorized person, training of authorized persons, instructions in the issue, use and closure. This is provision of safety. There should be also a provision of safety equipment. Okay, so these are basically standard procedure essentials of work permit. Next is where exactly the work permit is needed. We'll see that. Work which may adversely affect the safety of person, the environment or the plant, there the work permit is needed. Then high risk or non-routine activities which will require some form of prior to work commencing. Then non-production work like maintenance, repair, cleaning, testing, there the work permit is needed. Then jobs where two or more individuals or group needs to coordinate activities to complete the job safely, there the work permit is needed. Work on high voltage electrical equipment, work on electrical troubleshooting or repair on live circuits, there the work permit is needed. Then work involving the use of hazardous or dangerous substances, including radioactive material and explosives, there the work permit is needed. Then the complex machinery, pressure testing, escape or rescue systems, critical lifting, use of mobile cranes, work at height, operational pipelines, work near energized line. Okay, so there the work permit is needed, and you should not use for all the activities if it is not necessary. So there, in such kind of activities, the work permit is needed. When is PTW not required? That is work permit when it is not required. Emergency and routine activity. Okay, now we'll see different definitions in work permit. First is responsible person. Responsible person is a person which is authorized by manager who will be responsible for keeping his area and staff safe. Then the issuer. Issuer is a person who is trained, competent, and authorized to issue a permit to work after ensuring that all the hazards associated with the work being done in that area and all necessary safety precautions are being implemented to ensure that the work can be completed safely. Then is the executor. Executor is a person who is trained, competent, and authorized, and who is responsible for work being completed as described in the permit to work. Next is a field operator. Field operator is a competent person and supports the isolator at site, checks the site compliance to permit conditions, and signs the permit. Okay, so these are different types or persons responsible in case of work permit. Next is types of work permit. Cold work, hot work, confined space, ex excavation, radiography. So these are different types of work permits. We'll see every one of it in detail. First is cold work permit. So cold work permit shall be obtained for all the general work that does not involve activities related to hot work. Example, your routine maintenance, inspection, and hand tools. Then is hot work permit. It is work that could create a source of ignition that could result in a fire or explosion. So examples are spark producing tools, hammering in high risk gas areas, and explosive building. So such type of work comes in hot work permit. Next we'll discuss what are issues of work permit system. What are elements of work permit system? So basically there are four elements: issue, receipt, clearance, and cancellation. First is issue. It means the pre-job check. It is description of work that is to be carried out, description of plant and location of the work, assessment of hazards, and identification of control. These all comes under issue. Second is the receipt. It means handover of permit. Competent and authorized person issues this permit to the workers. Workers sign to say that they accept the controls. Work can start now, and plant is now under the control of the workers. So, receipt basically specifies that. Next is the clearance. It means hand back to permit. Workers sign to say that they have left the job site and equipment can restart. That is called as clearance. And fourth one is cancellation. Authorized person accept plant back and can remove isolations. Plant must now be returned to control of the site. So that basically is called as cancellation. So these are the four elements of work permit system. Okay, thank you. That's it. So with this, we have completed our fourth chapter. Okay. If you have any doubt in the fourth chapter, we can discuss it on Wednesday's lecture. Okay. I hope everything is clear to you all.